Not until you end and you've got to say stop.
Oh, yeah. Hi, guys! I don't know how many we've got. Only a few, I think, but we shall see where we go from here. Right, as promised, we're going to start with our usual Beaver shout so you can remember it all before we get back to Beavers proper. Hope you're behaving yourselves, you Beavers. Okay, so imagine that we've gathered logs and you're in a circle around me, and then we're going to do build a dam and our Beaver shout, okay? So I shall leave a bit of a space for you all to say hello, and then we'll go into the shout. So, ready? Build a dam. Hello, Beavers. Give me a B. Give me an E. Give me an A. Give me a V. Give me an E. Give me an R. Give me an S. And what do we got? What do we have? And what do we make? Brilliant. You can sit down if you want. That doesn't make any odds to me. Okay, now then, guys, we are going to do a little bit of learning how to do knots. Okay, they are very simple, I promise you. You don't have to get frightened about this. So, you should have 4 pieces of string or shoelace or something. So pick up your first one. And actually, we're going to do 4 knots actually, because we're going to do a very basic, just a simple knot in a piece of string to start with. So one end of your piece of string, this is just a practice one. So you because this is the basis of all the other knots you're going to be doing, okay? So one end, wrap it around into a loop like that, thread the end through the hole and just pull. There you go, a basic knot. That is called a simple hand over knot or thumb knot, and as you can see from the picture, you could use it to hang something up. Do you see it's gone through the hole there? And then it would stop something falling off. Sometimes you could do 2 or 3 of those together to make a big knot, and then it would hold quite a big stop a big hole from going through. Okay, so that is your basic knot, okay? I'm going to give you a few seconds to sort that one out. If any of you are on chat, you could let me know if you're done. Okay. So, and now that is the basis for all the other knots you're going to do. To start with now, we're going to do the overhand knot with a draw loop. So you're going to make a loop that you could hang something. And when you're done, it's going to look like this. There's your knot, and you're going to have made a loop. Okay? So the other end of that same piece that you started with, don't get a new one yet. Use the other end of the piece you did your basic one in. And you're again going to do that basic knot again. So you make a loop and you stick it through. But this time, instead, oh no, I've lost it already. You see? It's no good. It was so easy when I practiced earlier. You make your loop, and then instead of pulling the whole of this bit through, you catch it. Can you see? So instead of pulling through, you make your knot and you catch the end of that loop in your knot. There we go. So you've made a loop. And then you could tie something on the end of that and hang it up. Or if you needed to string this between 2 things, you'd put a loop on the other end, and then you could hang your loops on the hooks, and you'd have a line to hang something on. All sorts of things you could do with that. But it's still your basic knot. Do you want to see that again? Because the benefit of my Scooby-Doo strings is that they're nice and slippy, which isn't always useful making a knot, but for demonstrations it's quite useful. So make your loop, normal knot, but don't pull the whole lot through, so that you catch that end in the knot and you've made a loop. Okay, and that is an overhand knot or a thumb knot with a draw loop. So it's the same basic knot, but instead of pulling right through and getting a knot in there, you've caught the end in and you've made a loop. Okay, right, I'm going to leave you a minute or two, or a second or two, to make sure you've done that. If anyone's on chat, you can let me know that that you're ready. I'll go on with the next one. So if you want to join chat, somewhere at the bottom it says create a channel for chat. If you hit that button, it'll take a few minutes, but if you hit that button, it'll create a channel in your name, which I presume is Mum's name, whichever machine you're on. And then you can type, you can't chat to me, but you can type a message. Okay, our next one is our reef knot. It's going to look like that when it's finished. Okay, and my ready done one looks like that. Sometimes called a square knot apparently, but this is a reef knot. And again, if you manage that first basic knot, this is a bit simpler than the loop really, because this is basically just 2 of the handover knots. So your next piece of lace, string, whatever you've got, you do a handover knot and you do left over right. So I need to be the other end. Put the 2 ends like that, and you're doing left over right to start with, and then right over left, and then pull. That's not worked, has it? Look at this beautiful one I did earlier. That's absolutely beautiful. Let's see if we can manage that, shall we? Because that obviously wasn't right. Okay. So, you've got your 2 ends, and you're going to go left over right, and then right over left, and pull the ends. That's better. What are you doing, Coral? There you go. And that is a reef knot. As steady as anything if you don't make it out of Scooby-Doo's. Let's do that again so you can see. Okay. Hold your lace or string or whatever like that, like you would as if you're going to tie a shoelace. And you put your left one over the right one and loop under. And then you put the right one over the left one and loop through. And then you pull, and look, it makes a beautiful, you can see why they call it a square knot sometimes, but that is a reef knot. Okay, right, all done with the second. Thank you, Camilla, brilliant job. Hopefully the other few people who are trying are also all done with the second, so we will move on. Oh, is the second the loop one? Or the reef one? I'm going to trust you mean the reef knot on that, Camilla. So, now this is the tricky one. This is quite a tricky one. I've upped the stakes here, guys, but I believe in you. So you need 2 pieces. Okay, you should have 2 pieces left. Oh, a little trouble with the reef. Okay, so by the second one you meant the loop. Brilliant. A little trouble with the reef. Right, we'll go back to the reef then. Okay, take your 1 piece of string or lace or whatever it is you've got and cross the left hand piece over the bit in your right hand. Okay, so the left hand one goes over the top of the right one and then loops under. So you've got a basic start of a shoelace. And then the right hand one, the one that's in your right hand, then goes over the left. And again, just loop them through. And then when you pull, it'll come together in a beautiful reef or square. Okay. You can always practice for the next few days. Send me a photo when you've cracked it. I will actually, if you'd like, I can scan the guide sheets for you and email them over afterwards. Getting there, I think. Love it, Camilla. Do you want another demo? Okay, reef knot. Hold your string, one end in your right hand, one end in your left. The left hand goes over the right hand one and loops under to make a basic start of a shoelace. And then the one in your right hand now goes over the top of the left hand one and loops under. So you've kind of got 2 shoelaces on top of each other, and then you pull and it comes together into a reef knot. Okay, I'll give you a few minutes. I could be asking a lot with this one then. You'll wish you never came. Yeah, I always have trouble with left and right, Camilla. Trouble is telling left from right. Which hand does he write with? Whichever hand he holds a pencil in. Right. That's your finished product. I will scan and email over the sheets though, so that if any of you are having trouble, or any of you watching on catch up having trouble, you can try again at home and then photo and email over. As I said, if you take photos of them and email them to me, then I can tick you off on your outdoor challenge. Okay, let's try this one. This is a fisherman's knot. You need 2 of your pieces of string. And what happened here? This worked earlier. Flipping camera's in a different place. You're going to have to lose my face, I'm afraid, guys. Because it's a lot easier. Oh, I don't know. Let's try in midair, but it's quite hard in midair. So this fisherman's knot is to join 2 pieces together. So if you had 2 bits of rope but you needed one longer piece, then this joins them together. So your 2 pieces you want to hold parallel to each other towards each end, so that you can see if there was a knot there, then you'd have a nice long length instead of your 2 smaller ones. So like that, and then one side, you're just doing a normal thumb over knot on one side, and then likewise over the other. And then you tighten them and pull them together so that they come into one into one stream like that, which if it wasn't a Scooby-Doo, actually it is quite tight anyway, even being a Scooby-Doo. And then you've got a whole single piece instead of two separate ones. My original was a bit neater, as always. The first thing you do is always the best, isn't it? Always the best. So there you go. And that is a fisherman's knot. I'll try that one again. Or I'll try demoing it again. I think I might actually... Oh no, I was going to say I think I might have tightened my Scooby-Doo so hard I can't open them, but I can. If we'd been in the hall, you would all have had Scooby-Doos, which would actually have helped because they're a lot easier to see the knot than an actual piece of string. And as you can see from this, if you get it wrong, they're an awful lot easier to undo and start again. Unlike an actual piece of string or rope or shoelace or whatever it is you guys have managed to get yourself for this. So, I'm going to do this on the table actually, so you are going to lose my face. Here we go. Lay the two sides together. And then you just tie an overhand knot. The usual knot we've just done, or the same knot we've done for all of them, round there. And then turn it over. I'm not sure why you have to turn it over, to be honest with you, but there we go. And the same again with the other piece, which is why colours are quite handy. And then bring them together. There we go. Pull them together. And you've got two bits connected together to make a longer piece. Always a useful trick. Okay. That's it, I'm afraid. They are 3 knots that will get you your tick on your outdoor badge, even though we're not outdoors. And I look forward to getting your pictures on email so I can tick you. Thank you for joining. Let us know if you want to do it again. I'm treating things as normal, so you're on Easter holiday now, or at least from Friday you are. And we're back. If you want to do something like this again, we're back on the, it must be 20 something, mustn't it? But anyway, the week after Easter. Thanks for joining us. Well done. Sorry I haven't got Boris to give out, but there we go. And we will see you after Easter. Do have a lovely Easter. Forget about school, treat it like Easter holidays. I'm sure you've been working hard at home. Have your holiday, and then we'll all come back later. And hopefully, before too long, we'll be back in the hall all together doing our Beaver Shout properly.